Well, when they made Spider-Man, they wanted to make sure they made it fun for children. So putting Spider-Man back into high school was the key. But this whole multiverse idea was created really by the fans. So references that you might have missed, everything we're going to be going over now. Now, Spider-Man has now entered a multiverse where three Spider-Man should appear. They have to do this, and we may even see Daredevil into this whole universe. So don't forget to like the video, and let's move forward. Spoilers, in case you have not seen the trailer or some of these movies that may connect. Woohoo! Now we know Spider-Man was framed, in case you have not seen Far From Home, and it was made to look as if Spider-Man killed Mephisto. This was done before in the past, but during the Civil War type of storyline where he said, my name is Peter Parker, I've been this 15-year-old boy, I've been Spider-Man since I was 15 years old. So he made it look as if Spider-Man called the drones to kill him, and he might need Daredevil, Mr. Murdock, to defend him in a trial case. And of course, Daredevil on Netflix was a totally dark, show, but it really was the best showing we've had of the character, which I think a Daredevil movie doesn't make sense without having a Daredevil actual scene that makes sense, if that makes sense. So, looking to the cosmos here, and I don't know why they're not sending out notifications. They really bugged my phone and everything else. Okay. Well, looking at everything in tow, Damage Control, which was created by Tony Stark, is now the same company 8 years later that is investigating and taking down, that took down Falcon, that is now investigating Peter Parker for the murder and the cause of all the attacks in London with the drones. So now the world is split on, do they like Spider-Man or do they do not? This is the part I don't like. Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is acting very strange, as if he's not acting himself. Now, the 10 Rings, and once that come out, we're going to have a connection probably to this universe, which ties more into Doctor Strange's film itself. The sequel, which would unlock a lot of different features. Marvel might be holding me back. Did I get 22 yet? No, I've read all the people that hate 22. So until they get all the bugs out of it, I don't think I'm going to be getting it. So in Civil War, you remember Spider-Man came out and told the world who he was. And then the One More Day episode. The One More Day is where Mephisto shows up, where he thought he was talking to Doctor Strange and all of these people, but he ended up talking to Mephisto as he was deceived. Which is basically the storyline. So here's another chance where people get to see Mephisto not show up. But they're taking from a storyline that involved him. It was very dark comic book, and once this came out, they decided to change directions. What's up, Trip? It was such a dark episode, they completely went away from it. It disappeared. But now that plays a part into now. What I don't understand is the fact of, you see the four rings there, so it looks like they're going to cross into four different realities. They have Doctor Strange playing like a complete moron in this whole trailer. Like, he's doing spells he know better than to do, only because Spider-Man wants it done, and he wants to experiment. And because of his interactions, you see a lot of things go wrong. So this means that this does not tie in with anything that was done in the Loki series, where it would have made more sense if this was done based on what happened in the Loki series. It looked like they created their own paradox, and Doctor Strange, who knows better than to do these type of experiments or spells, seems to have done it and made a mistake. And why does he astral project Peter out of his Spider-Man body? We don't know, but we will see this. And someone had predicted that this was going to happen, but what is that box? That box can be used to collect relics from other dimensions. And there might be a part where he needs to do that. Now, you see Doctor Strange in trailer use similar things that he used, like when he fought against Thanos. But they made him like a goof troop in this entire episode. Like, instead of a mentor, he's kind of a goofy mentor. Now, they needed someone to take the place of Tony Stark. And with all these different parodies and shows going on, we're seeing an entirely different outlook of Spider-Man. From merchandise, all of the black and gold suits that you're going to see for the actual movie, people want to see it. As you can see, he's wearing the black and gold Spider-Man outfit with his mask off, as you see the stunt double in there, and you see him there, and people are pointing at him. So people know he's Spider-Man now. So him without the mask walking around is like a normality. Now let's bring on the villains. We see the green ball there to let us know the Green Goblin's back. And we're going to see William Dafoe reprise his role. So a lot of people are excited to see this, especially those who are fans of the Raimi universe. Now you got the Green Goblin back. What does this mean for the Hobgoblin? Well, we know they're not going to bring back Franco. Franco's harassment cases is not going to be going well for him. And will we see him back in the picture? We don't know if he's going to reprise his role as Falcon for this film, because of the fact he's doing work as Batman in the new Batman Flash movie. So there's a lot of pieces going on in Spider-Man that it might end up being too much, which presents a bit of a problem for me. Now, Jamie Foxx will be back as Electro, which ties in the other Spider-Man series that Sony has, which brings in Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man. People do not remember, but there were two Spider-Man comics. There was Spider-Man, and then there was the Amazing Spider-Man. Now, will we see the Lizard again? I don't know. But someone's seen that villain there. People believe that this may be Venom. And if Venom's in the film, now you're going to have something else extraordinary. But people's imagination went very far here. As you can see, there's some type of blackness there that they kind of blurred out. But the problem is, okay, You bring back all of these Sinister Six villains, and you got 3 Spider-Mans to help out. Is there enough going on to where it becomes a cluttered mess of distractions? And this is kind of what happened with the Far From Home and how it fell short. Now, Gyllenhaal's character of this is what brought all the oohs and ahs to Far Away From Home. He was a great villain because he really wasn't a villain. He was a hero of the working people who lost and was ripped off from their work from Tony Stark. So it's like the boss is getting credit for all their work. But here's the problem. This looks like too much already. Will we see? We got our Sinister Six here. Will we have the Falcon reappear? We've already seen 2. And now that 2 are down, what more shall show up to be that 6? We know we'll have Electro, Dr. Ock, and the Green Goblin. Are we going to see the doggone lizard come back again that we don't need to see? Like I said, too much going on. And it looks like that from the trailer. This looks like it's going to be a otherworldly, fan-pleasing type of film. Saying we just want to keep the fans and give them what they want. They want 3 Spider-Mans, we got to give them 3 Spider-Mans. Because guess what? If you just have the new Spider-Man fighting these guys and there's no 3 Spider-Mans, the fans will rip this movie apart. Just off that alone, because they're expecting to see 3 Spider-Mans on the screen. Writing can save it, yes, but from what I've seen from the trailers, the writing is not going to save this. Because it seems right off the bat does not make any type of sense that now the world is Spider-Man, they're being investigated, all his family members, they're being harassed to see what they know about him being Spider-Man, and did he cause an international event? He's back in school. The people all got their phones out. Sometimes giving the people what they want does not work. Look at Star Wars. The people wanted to see the Emperor come back. They brought the Emperor back in the stupidest way and really ruined a doggone saga by doing that. They bring back the Emperor. None explained really defeats the original concept of the original first 3 movies. Bring back the Emperor in a very unconventional way does not help the film at all. It was fanfare, and it was totally unnecessary. Just like the original trilogy that brought in the C-3PO and R2-D2 just for fanfare. It's not how you do it. It's how you ruin something. Because when you do something for fan service, fans like something because it was something in the movie they hadn't seen before that made them like it. Doesn't mean give them an extra dose of everything the fan wants. Sometimes the fans are way off and don't know what they want. You have to give them a great product that makes sense, and they will end up wanting it. If you just do listen to all the fans, I think he should have like all his outfits there, and then he comes out, and then we should bring back the guy that was in that comic book. He was great. Because what one fan likes, another fan doesn't like. So you're never gonna please all the fans, even if the majority of the fans wanted to see this and they like, oh, I see it, but it didn't work out. Then now you have a terrible movie that you knew was terrible, but you was just trying to please the fans. And now they're not gonna be pleased, and you gave them what they said they want. And you missed the opportunity to realize that there is a better vision here. The fans wanted to see the Sinister Six, so they're going to give them the Sinister Six that they never got because Spider-Man 3 was canceled for the new Amazing Spider-Man. So now they're going to finish that storyline off now by doing some multiverse of a universe thing where they could blend all three together. So we'll have the Green Goblin back, you have Dr. Ock back, Electro is supposed to be back. Does this mean that, okay, now that they're back and they're alive, that this is going to bring other people back to life, such as Mysterio and the Lizard? This opens a lot of doors because there's a lot of people that perished that are probably back to life and running the streets now. And if you do a quick fix to fix everything, we could have an even bigger problem, and it looks like a massive distraction. And I don't like how they got Doctor Strange pretty much as a loose cannon and a misfit in this movie. Like he was not be that Doctor Strange. He was a serious guy. And now he's like more of a jokey, funny guy. And this, even in the trailer, it just does not fit the character of what Doctor Strange is. Well, I won't judge the movie off its trailer, but off the trailer, it looks very cliche-ic, very like we're gonna have to get some comedy going here, and they're trying to make Doctor Strange more like Tony Stark, and that doesn't work. And I saw that from the attire he's wearing, the coffee mug, the sweatshirt. I did not like it at all. Doctor Strange would not have been doing that. He's not Tony Stark. And the way they have him doing that really pissed me off. Because I know they're getting ready to screw something up. Whenever you see that, something's about to go wrong. No Way Home, baby. Well, they already said they're working on a fourth Spider-Man, so we know that's coming. But now that they brought back Doc Ock for this appearance, how long will he be in it? And if he's in it for a couple of minutes, then you've wasted your time. William Dafoe, if he's in for a couple of minutes, you've wasted your time. Now, these characters all died. So if they're all brought back to life based off this theory, what is that going to say for everybody else? See? Look at this. Garbage, 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 garbage. Caravan of garbage. People did not like, this is the best Spider-Man movie ever, was this one. This is the best Spider-Man movie they've ever made. So the Doc Ock Spider-Man was the best. They got everything correct. From now the third one was the disaster. His best bout was with Doc Ock. So don't forget to hit the like button if you just got here. Hit the like button. 3 Spider-Mans. We're expecting to see it. We're expecting to see 3 Spider-Mans. I want to see 3 Spider-Mans. The world want to see 3 Spider-Mans. So I just don't want it to not make sense. Because, okay, you got Andrew Garfield, who's basically not Spider-Man. He's going to be in for a supporting role. Then you have Tobey Maguire, who's only going to be there for a supporting role. But how much of the screen time will they share? As we know, Doctor Strange is not going to be all the way in this movie. He's only going to make appearances in this film. So everything's going to be up to Tom Holland to carry the Spider-Man torch in the majority of the movie. This, to me, is going to be a little bit too much. Something like this have to be very well thought out and written, because it opens so many doors and paradox. And the way to keep this fresh is to have a storyline in which all of this makes sense and connects to other movies with Easter eggs. That's what keeps fans engaged in these type of films. Something that they can go online and look up and, ooh, this is an Easter egg. And they're excited about it. So if you don't have anything that they can get behind and get excited about, then you basically wasted your time, because the fans definitely well, I could see Tobey Maguire saying that, but it's Tom Holland's role. He is Spider-Man. Like, he could actually do most of the Spider-Man stunts on his own, as he is a gymnastic whiz. So this fits more into the vision of what was supposed to happen with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, which went completely wrong. Oh, you didn't know what Tom Holland was capable of? You must have been under a rock. Tom Holland has always been Spider-Man. There is no doubt about it. He is Spider-Man. Like, he is the clear-cut choice to be the best Spider-Man there is. See, Andrew Garfield was a lousy Peter Parker, but was a great Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire was a terrible Spider-Man, but was a great Peter Parker. Those two alternated what it was like, because Peter was being told from 2 different perspectives. In the first Spider-Man, he was more the photographer that worked at the Daily Planet. In The Amazing Spider-Man, they focused more on his chemistry and how smart he was being a chemist who created his web. In the Raimi verse, the web was coming out of his hands. They just made that adjustment. I thought it was a cool adjustment. He's Spider-Man, he's got web that he could shoot out of his wrist. Dedicated fans hated that, as they kind of went away from him being the guy who invented, his own web. Yeah, so it took away from that. Now you get somebody who's the best, who is better at being Peter Parker and Spider-Man all in one. And that's Tom Holland. Tom Holland can act better than the rest of them. And he can pull off the stunts. %100. Yeah, he's super like athletic. That's Tom Holland, your Spider-Man. He is really Spider-Man. Now, you ask any of the other people that played Spider-Man, could they do any of this? so, so when I tell you, they have the right person playing Spider-Man. Now you know what I'm talking about. So a lot of the stunts you see is not him on the wires. He's actually doing these moves. So hopefully that clears everything up, everybody. So when you watch Spider-Man and go back and watch the Tom Holland Spider-Mans, you can appreciate him a lot more now, knowing that he could really pull off these stunts. The second one, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. That's the one with Dr. Ock, Spider-Man 2. That's my favorite Spider-Man. I like Homecoming a little bit better than Far From Home. I know a lot of people like Far From Home. I think the grit, it was more grit into the Homecoming than Far From Home. Far From Home was a little bit more jokey, a little bit more cartoonish, but what an outstanding villain as far as the way it was written for the guy who was originally supposed to be Doctor Strange, Jake Gyllenhaal. See, a lot of people would assume that. But for me, Homecoming was clearly better. Because you had a Spider-Man who was, basically raw at what he was doing. And he had to mature and learn what it really meant to be Spider-Man with the responsibility. And like I said, it was more grit. The second one, they went more with like comedy, just too much comedy. Well, that came into play. Well, they're not going to make that for an entire time. They're playing it like on the comic when there was a time when people thought, hey, they found out he was Spider-Man and he wanted to get that changed. And he ended up going to Doctor Strange, who was actually fooled by Mephisto. It was a deception. So that comic was called One More Day. And we showed that. And the One More Day comic is definitely not a comic book that was very popular. A lot of fans hated the storyline. And it was really dark. Because he lost Mary Jane in the process. It was they just ended up walking away from that and changing everything. Well, the 10 Rings, they're basing the 10 Rings around the first Iron Man movie. They're going to tie that into play. The character is good because it can bring in the Mandarin. Now, from what it looks like, they're going to appear to have the father being the Mandarin, who's like the chief of the 10 Rings, the father. So it's another duality matchup that Marvel seems to play a lot into. You have Ant-Man basically fighting another Ant-Man when he went against the Hornet. You had T'Challa, both guys with equal, same powers fighting each other. You've seen that. You had Iron Man versus basically Iron Man. And part 2, he ended up going against Whiplash. And you saw Iron Man versus the Iron Man suit. So Marvel has done this with all of their movies. Captain America versus the Winter Soldier. You do the duality thing over and over again, pretty soon it gets played out. And it's so much more that they just need to go into instead of taking the easy route. Well, when you go the easy route, you get easy results. DC goes too dark. You get more of an adult and you lose out on that 13 to 18 ratio. The 13 to 18 ratio, well, let's just say that pays off a lot more. Well, if you look at the DC things, like let's take a look at a movie that started it off, which was the movie that really jumped off the dark side of the DC universe. And they should have learned from that, but they made money, which was Batman Returns. Batman Returns was so dark. People, the parents hated it. Like they lost their McDonald's deal. This would led to Michael Keaton walking away from the project. They basically fired Tim Burton, and they were going to pay him to not be in it because they already had him for contract. So they just made him an executive producer, and he just stayed and stand to the side while they went ahead and put this film together. And they brought in Val Kilmer. They made it much more fluffy and colorful. And parents complained with the McDonald's toys. How can McDonald's put these toys out? This movie, my kid was scared the entire movie. She was scared of the penguin. So everything went fluff. And it was so much fluff that people just didn't like the movies. The movies were terrible. So that almost ended DC's whole run with film. Then Daredevil came out, and Daredevil was dark. I mean dark. That fight and the Kingpin at the end. I mean, all this stuff was epic at the time. Legendary. And people hated on the movie because they were mad at Ben Affleck for dating Jennifer Lopez. And that just messed up. Anything he did, they were going to hate on. And I'm watching the movie like, this isn't a bad movie at all. What is people talking about? He was ruthless. I love Bullseye's character. They were killing heroes. Ben, that's how he met his wife. That's how he met Jennifer Garner. They ended up, she was a lecturer. She got killed by Bullseye. It was perfect. I don't think he's done anything wrong. That's the thing about it, is he was a good Bruce Wayne for where Bruce Wayne was at that time. See, people forget that you got to look at the time period. He's Bruce Wayne in his 40s, looking to get out of being Bruce Wayne. And people say, well, it's two different universes. Yes and no. The Nolan universe puts someone else taking over the mantle, which was Jordan Levitt's Batman. If they were going to continue to go down the revolving door, he left all that to do it so he could pass the mantle on to someone else. This is the story of what would have happened had they continued down that road. Because continuing down that road means, okay, we're going to go down this road. but this is what's going to happen now. Meaning, he gets screwed up and gets killed, and he's forced to come back as Batman. As this Batman that is played by Ben Affleck, the tortured Batman, because the Joker, because of Batman's inability to kill, let the Joker kill Robin, the person he left in charge while he was retired as Batman, which brought him back to being Batman. Now, they never really go into that, but that was the storyline. As you could see, the ha 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 jokes on you that he puts in there when he's honoring Robin's legacy. And in the deleted scenes of the Justice League, he's saying, "You sent the boy to do a man's job." Speaking of Robin, this is why Batman was so dark and was more of the villain-like in the Batman versus Superman film, where he was branding enemies but weren't killing them. He still wasn't killing just yet, but he had went dark till he was branding them, putting them in prison, and if anybody saw the Batman logo, they would take the life of the prisoner. So they wouldn't even make it to trial. Batman was extracting his own justice, as he had people who were dedicated to the Bat in prison. So if they saw that Bat logo, they would do the work Batman didn't want to do. Now, Snyder, his cut was entirely different type of movie. It was more of a retribution of Batman, the character. So that's why you see such a different version in the new Justice League movie. Batman, who was more of a cynical person, now after what happened with Superman, he became a person of faith. As you see, he believed. That's why he just said, faith. You know, I got faith. This is going to work. He had faith. Everybody was going to come together. He believed. And that belief is what brought things together for them. It brought the team together. It brought everybody into fold. That belief that there was something better, they could do something more. And that's why at the end of the final episode of the Justice League, he makes the sacrifice and he gets killed by the same spear, the kryptonite spear, that he had. He risks that. As he rushes that, he's get pierced with that same spear through his chest as he gets Darkseid. He makes the sacrifice play. Which I thought was pretty awesome. Then Batman will be reborn because he has a son with Lois Lane while Superman was dead. Lois is pregnant. Everyone believes it's Superman's child, but it's not. It's really Bruce Wayne's child. As while she was, drunk and heartbroken, her and Batman got drunk, blasted, and had an affair that they wished they never did. And Superman, believing this was his child, they named the son after Bruce Wayne, who winds up being his father anyway. Bruce Kent. Woo! Woo! They didn't date. They got drunk and had a one-night fling as she was feeling depressed being without Superman. And she winds up getting pregnant. So while she's pregnant with a child, Superman believes the child is his. Which is not. She knows that the child is not Superman's. She knows it's not his. And then Superman's back, it was like, oh, he's back. This was going to make for a very interesting future. As the final shot you saw at the end of Justice League, standing on top of that big, gigantic Batmobile tank that was with them big 80-inch rim wheels, that battle ram of a Batmobile, that was supposed to not be Ben Affleck's Batman. That's supposed to be the future Batman, Bruce Kent, because he ends up taking over the mantle of being Batman for Gotham. Sino, have you ever saw the All-Star Superman movie? Sorry for going off topic. No, I didn't see that movie, and it's okay you went off topic. Yeah, I'm supposed to go out for a little bit. So I had to get out of my Tom Brady jersey and go pop up. 1 o'clock in the morning, so you know what that means. No, it's not a strip club. But she does work in a strip club. Might be some stripping going on. So it's like I put these clothes on to take them off. If that makes any sense. No, I gotta go hit her house. And this is a problem because dating strippers or girls that work in strip clubs, they're normally up late hours. You know, which is my hours. But I had plans to do a couple things. Now those plans are to the wayside. I gotta see what's going on with my ABT system because that thing seems a little bit off. That should be working. It's just clicking in a little too late. My ABT alarm system. I don't know if it's because of the rain or the wind. I'm gonna have to call them tomorrow. I want to make sure I'm resting easy so when that alarm go off, Pop, 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 pop. Then I'm gonna be freeze. Who is it? Oh, damn. What you doing here? Now I gotta call an ambulance. I know, right? So, anyway, let me get out of here. It was great talking to y'all. We'll chop this up again and do some more on Screen Fiend. And I can give y'all a free movie next time. I was going to do it today, but I just forgot. So I'll do it tomorrow. Out.